I told you this would be 3 weeks. I'm now committing to 2 weeks. We're delivering on our commitments. The IRS, which I oversee, within 2 weeks.
That was Secretary Mnuchin yesterday at the briefing, promising help is coming for millions of Americans. It comes as a new monthly jobs report is out as of this morning. It shows that U.S. employers cut 701,000 jobs in the month of March as this pandemic continues and virtually leads to a shutdown of the U.S. economy. And the unemployment rate, that headline number, it jumped to 4.4%, but it may not paint the entire picture as to just how many may be suffering from this right now. Let's see how the markets are reacting to all of it this morning. The Dow initially selling off. It's down 200 points here at the 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Now to bring in on all of this is White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow. Larry, good morning, and thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks, Sandra. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to get first your reaction to those numbers. Obviously, this doesn't include 2 months of March where we saw a virtual shutdown of the U.S. economy. So what do you think the actual unemployment rate is in the United States right now?
Well, look, I'm not going to guesstimate that. I will simply say these are rough numbers. A lot of people are suffering. And I will say the weeks ahead, I think the numbers are also going to be very poor. This is an interruption of what was a very prosperous economy. It's an interruption from the virus and the necessary mitigation efforts to deal with the virus. And I also want to say that we have devoted enormous resources and work with our rescue package to add cash and liquidity, try to keep individuals and families, keep them afloat, keep their small businesses afloat. We've worked and coordinated with the Federal Reserve as never done before. The total package, as you may know, is $6.2 trillion. That's about a third of GDP, a third of our economy. That's how widespread and massive this is a historic effort. In other words, it's tough. Reach out to those folks. It's very difficult. We're doing everything we can to deal with it and make it perhaps a little easier. We're trying to save jobs, save payrolls, and save businesses so that, and this is maybe the key point, when this virus runs its course, as it will, it is not permanent. This is a temporary issue. As it runs its course, the American economy will be ready to snap back. I believe that's going to happen well before the end of the year.
That's a strong forecast. You know, Bank of America put out a dire note saying that we're entering the deepest recession on record. They're talking about 3 straight quarters of contraction, a 7% contractions, 30% in the third quarter, another percent in the fourth quarter. So I know you're looking at these economic models all the time, Larry, and part of that is looking at our small businesses. They're the engine of this economy. There is concern that some of the banks that are going to be giving these loans don't really know the guidelines and that there's some confusion as to how they're supposed to administer those. That is supposed to happen this week. So what is the update on the information getting to those banks?
Well, I think the information's gotten there. I mean, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin's done a terrific job overseeing a massive program. We've never tried anything like this. $350 billion if you keep your payroll intact, a 1% loan, and the bank participation. I mean, look, all during the week, Secretary Mnuchin and others of us have been talking to the bankers, and they came in with constructive suggestions, and those have been incorporated into the plan. The plan begins today, I guess, and the application should flow. You have a wide, I mean, virtually the whole banking community will take part in this. Federal Reserve backed banks, FDIC insured banks, credit unions. Everybody's going to be involved. It's not going to be hard. And if anybody needs to find out, just hit the SBA website and you'll get the bank closest to you. But I think this thing is ready to go. And look, these are government guaranteed loans. The banks know that. We've given the banks a decent rate of return on the loans. And the most important part is that small business folks applying for the loans are going to try to keep this economy going, or at least, you know, keep their employees attached to the business. That is so important. That is the key point in all this. And I think the resources and the execution are going to be very good. So let's wait and see. I think the bankers are ready to play, and I know that folks need the help.
It would be a huge help because this would allow them to retain those workers, pay those wages, pay the rent and the utilities, and eventually be a grant the way that it's structured. Secretary Mnuchin, to your point, just tweeted out, I just got first report on PPP loan. The system's up and running. Community banks, he says, have already processed over 700 loans, processed for $2.5 million. But what about those bigger banks, Larry? JP Morgan told its small business customers that it should not expect that they're going to start accepting those applications this week, still awaiting guidance from the Small Business Administration. So when does that guidance get to them? Because JP Morgan, that's one of the big guys. We need them part of this.
Well, look, I can't speak for JP Morgan. I didn't know a thing about it. I don't know what they've informed. I will say that Mr. Brian Moynihan, who is the CEO of the Bank of America, who is an extremely prominent banker, he has been visiting with Steven Mnuchin and worked hand in glove on this, and he's ready to go. So I can't account for these big banks.
Okay.
Look, the key point here is I think the arrangements and the adjustments have been made. Mr. Mnuchin has said we're open for business on this. This is not going to be hard.
Okay.
Eventually, the banks will play. Look, Sandra, let me make one additional point. It's this lending program, okay? It's the payroll protection. But don't forget, we are putting out $600 billion of assistance, and on top of this purchasing, $600 billion for individuals, for families, for sick leave, for unemployment. 175 million Americans, that's 175 million Americans, will receive checks and other forms of assistance. It's the most remarkable thing we've ever done, and we are working hand in glove, cooperating with the Federal Reserve on their lending programs, so fiscal and monetary policy is working together. This is nothing like this has ever tried before. It's just to keep people going. Keep people going.
There's no. But so
just,
many aren't going right now. So many people have been laid off. Larry, no, I understand it's a massive coordinated effort. We get that. But then you look at the medical side of things, and we're not out of the darkest hour of this yet. But as the chief economic advisor to the president, you have to be able to start looking at how you reopen the economy once things do get better. So, Larry, final thought on that note. What are you looking at as far as a timeline to get this economy running again?
Well, look, the first thing, Sandra, is really to implement this Phase 3 assistance plan, to implement it, to execute it, to make sure it gets to all the men and women and families and businesses and so forth. That's really priority number one. We must make it work. I think we've gotten off to a good start. Again, it's unparalleled assistance. The second point I'm going to make is this pandemic and the mitigation effects essentially interrupted what was a very strong economic boom from prior policies, and, you know, the private sector to come alive. Now, I say that because I believe the economy is fundamentally sound. If we can end or close, gradually remove this interruption, then I think people will come back strong. And I think business will come back strong.
Larry, people are going to hear that and say, this isn't just an, Larry, people are going to hear that, this isn't just an interruption. I mean, you look at the cost of that stimulus plan that we're implementing. I mean, there could be years, if not a decade, that it takes us to recover from this. That's why I'm asking you for some sort of timeline, because it's not just the economic.
I just don't agree. I'm sorry, Sandra. I don't think it's going to take years and decades to recover from this. We've had health waves, problems like this before. We've come back pretty rapidly. I mean, again, I think that's an important point. I may be wrong, but I will maintain, as I think most people, most economists believe, that this virus, the pandemic, and the actions to mitigate it are temporary. And therefore, the difficulties, the interruption that I talked about, will prove to be temporary. Our job right now is to help as many Americans as we can with this assistance so they can get through this. That's our job. But I think at some point it will be over. It will wash through. The virus is not going to last for years. I just don't agree with that. And I frankly don't know anybody that agrees that the virus is going to last for years. Maybe we'll all be wrong. Okay, I get that. But our thinking, since you asked, is just to do the best we can to keep people working, to keep businesses alive and therefore to be ready when the shut-in recedes and we go back to opening up business in this country and use our free enterprise system, which is the best in the world. So I'm afraid I disagree with you. I think this is going to be temporary.
To be clear, I wasn't saying that the virus is going to last for years. The economic impact of that and what that recovery looks like. But final thought on the news of the day, the unemployment number, that headline rate. I know you've got to look at your economic models and advise the president on this. I mean, are we looking at double-digit unemployment in this country right now, Larry? Final thought.
Well, I think in the weeks ahead, Sandra, it's going to get worse. I can't pull any punches on that. It will get worse. This is a very deep contraction. The numbers are going to come in very badly. They're going to look terrible in the weeks ahead. How much longer? I don't really want to forecast. That's up to the health people. But there's no question that it's going to be bad. There's also no question that we are providing more relief and assistance for unemployment than ever before in our nation's history. And if we have to do more, we will do whatever it takes. That's what the president has said. We will use all the levers and power of the federal government to help folks who need that kind of help.
And based on what you see so far, are those checks going to get to the people who need them the most in a timely fashion? You don't have to look far. Reports this morning all over the place that some people won't get their checks till September. So how fast will people get those checks, Larry?
Well, first of all, the unemployment checks from the current law are going out right now. Second point on unemployment, Labor Secretary Gene Scalia has put the extra unemployment money, $600 per person. He has given those funds to the states, and it's up to them to distribute. We hope they execute quickly. In terms of the direct rebates, tax rebates, checks in the mail directly, I think you're looking at a couple more weeks. As I said, that's the more or less 175 million people. That's the 1,200 per person, might be 3,000 per family. So I think the unemployment checks are being distributed. The plus up in unemployment, that might take another week or two from the states, but it's coming. And in terms of direct checks in the mail, to help people get through this, that should come hopefully in a couple more weeks. So I think it will be pretty timely.
It's a crucial time for those people. Larry Kudlow, really appreciate all your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll catch back
Appreciate
up
it.
with you soon. Thanks.